Hello everyone and welcome to our class of Blender Essential Tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 4 and here we will be transforming objects in Blender. Okay, so in last class we have known that how you will be able to select an object, okay, how you will be able to select multiple objects, and also I have told you guys about the usage of the numpad for the angle. Okay, so we'll be learning about all of that here in detail in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the workspace of the Blender. Okay, so now from here, I will try to transform all of these things. Okay, so let's say I will take this particular cube over here and now I will come here into my properties panel. Okay, so here you guys can see the cube is selected and under this I do have the transform option. Okay, so over here you guys can see I do have uh, four options over here, okay, which is the location, the rotation, mode, and the scaling option. Okay, so let's say you want to actually move this thing towards the x-axis. Okay, so you guys can come here and let's say I will type 2. Okay, so if I type 2 and click on enter, here you guys can see it had moved up to 2 meters over here. Okay, so now if I just click again, let's say 5, and if I just click enter, here you guys can see now it had moved through the x-axis. Okay, so this red line over here is basically the x-axis. If you look into all of this, you will get up a better idea. Okay, here you guys can see the color representation. Okay, so now here once you just hover, okay, if you want to do precisely, okay, you guys can come here, let's say 5.2, 5.4, and this is how you guys can basically move on very slowly. And if you want to drag, you guys can come here, let's say when you hover over this particular option, from here if you just double click, or if you just hold your left mouse here, you guys can see you guys can basically move this through the x-axis. Okay, so now let's keep it right over here in the center again, and now if you want to move this one through the y-axis, okay, you guys can come here and do the same thing again. Okay, so you guys can just move this through the y-axis over here as well, and now if you want to move this towards the z-axis, you guys can come here and you guys can move up or you can move down. Okay, so for now I will just keep these things quite like this. And also let's say now what you want to do is you want to come here and you want to change all of this all together. Okay, so if you want to change the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis all at once, in that case what you need to do is you need to come here, click on your left side of your mouse and just drag this one to the z-axis. Okay, so now just click it right over here, and now you guys can just put on any amount, let's say 7. Okay, and I will click on enter, and over here you guys can see now if I come here, go to view option. Okay, so let's go to the view option, and from here let's click on frame all. Okay, so here you guys can see the location of my cube have basically changed. Okay, so again you guys can come here and now you guys can just hold your mouse, and here you guys can see this is how you guys will be able to do the movement right from here. Okay, so this is how you guys will be able to transform your objects. Okay, and now again I will come here, let's take this thing here in the center. Okay, so I will just keep this thing right over here, and now let's just zoom in again. Okay, and also here what you'll be able to do is, let's say you want to do some plus or minus thing. Okay, like if I come here and if I put 8 minus 2, and if I click on enter, here you guys can see I already do have the sum, which is 6. Okay, and here you guys can see the position of my cube over here have changed. Okay, so you guys can actually use different kind of numeric keys such as subtraction, multiplication. Okay, if you want to divide, you guys can also divide some numbers. Okay, you guys will be able to do that. So now if you want me to check the y-axis, and let's come here, let's put this one over here in the center. Okay, so I will just place it right over here in the center. And now if you want me to zoom in, I can just zoom in using Control plus. Okay, so I can come here and I can basically zoom in quite like this. And using the okay, so over here using the hand tool, you guys can just move up your workspace as well. So I want to see my cube or the all the objects over here. Okay, so this was all about the location, like wherever you want to put up your cube. Okay, and let's say if you don't want to change it, okay, now you have finalized this particular length. So you guys can come here and you guys can actually log this thing out. So you guys can come here and you guys can basically lock the x-axis. And now I will just thing right over here, and now you won't be able to change this particular number. Okay, so here you guys can see now it is basically locked. Okay, so this was about the XYZ axis. And also if you come over here, let's go with Control plus, let's come to this particular point, and now here you guys can also put on different units. Let's say instead of meters I will put cm. Okay, so if I just click on enter, here you guys can see now I will come again. Let's say let's put 5 feet. Okay, so if I click on enter, here you guys can see 5 feet equals to 1.524 meters. Okay, so this is the unit right over here. And if you want to change the unit, what you need to do is here just beside the properties panel, you guys can see here I do have different type of tools. Okay, so over here I will come on top and this scene option. Okay, so these are the scene properties. I will click on this, and over here I will go into this units option. Okay, so I will come here, click on to the units option from here, and from here I will be able to change that. Do I want it as a metric unit or do I want it as an imperial unit? Okay, so I can come here, select those, and here for rotations, do I want radians? Okay, or here you guys can see, do I want degrees? Okay, and here under length you guys can take kilometers, centimeters, or millimeters over here as well. Okay, and also for mass here it is calculated as kilograms, and for time it's given seconds over here. So you guys will be able to change all of this thing separately, all the units over here if you want to. But now I will just keep how it is. Okay, for length I'll take meters. Let's come to the units, and from here now what I'll do is I will come here back again onto this object properties. Okay, and now I'll be showing you guys about rotation. Okay, so if I just come here and let's say I want to give this one up a rotation, so I can come here, I can just click on this one and I can just change the rotation on the x-axis first. Okay, so here you guys can see I can give rotation on the x-axis. If I want to give rotation to the y-axis, here you guys can see I can give rotation to the y-axis from here as well. And if I want to give rotation to the z-axis, this is how I will be able to give rotation to the z-axis as well. Okay, so this is how you guys can actually work. And if you want to select all three altogether, make sure to click on your mouse and just drag and drop down. Let's come here, let's drag, and now what I'll do is if I put on 5 and if I click on enter, here you guys can see altogether all of these things are basically changing. So come here, let's change the y-axis as well. Okay, so let's come here and now let's change the x-axis. Okay, so come here, put up the x-axis, and if you want to come here and give this one or bring this one a little front, so yeah, this one looks good. And now if you want to scale it up, okay, let's say you want to scale it up from the x-axis, so now I will just zoom out. Okay, so let's come here, let's click here and let's just zoom out. And now if you want to scale, you guys can come here and you guys can see it is just scaling on the x-axis. And the same way, if you want to scale it to the y-axis, okay, you guys can see it is scaling to the y-axis. And now if you want to scale it through the z-axis, you guys can come here and you guys can select the z-axis from here as well. Now if you want to move on the location, you guys can come here and basically move on the location as well. Let's change uh, the y-axis a little bit over here as well. Okay, so let's come here, and now I want to basically change the rotation as well. Okay, so I will come here and x-axis I will just change right over here. Let's check the y-axis. Okay, so I will just keep this thing quite like this. Okay, so here you guys can see now I do have this particular cube, and I have changed the scaling from here as well. Okay, and over here, also for transformation, we guys can also use few of these options right over here on the left hand side. Okay, so here you guys can see this is basically the move tool. So using the move tool, if I come here and if I select the move tool, let's click here onto the object. If I want to move it towards the y-axis, I can basically move it towards the y-axis. If I want to come here and if I want to move it towards the x-axis, I can come here and move this thing towards the x-axis as well. And also if I want to move it towards the z-axis, I can come here and basically I will be able to move it towards the z-axis as well. Okay, so now if you select this one, let's say if you come here and using this particular thing, you guys can just move with a free hand. Okay, so you guys can come here and move freehand right over here in this particular option, and now you guys can come here and you guys can just place it wherever you want. Okay, so here you guys can actually rotate freehand using the move tool, and also here you guys do have the rotation tool. Okay, so over here you guys can see now using this one you guys can basically give this thing up a rotation. Okay, so from here if you want to do precisely, you guys can come here and you guys can give some precise rotation. Okay, so let's come here and let's give this one or this y-axis over here. And now if you want to change the z-axis, you guys select this one, and now you guys can select it at the z-axis. Come here, and if you want to give any rotation to the y-axis, you guys can come here and give this thing up a rotation on the y-axis. Okay, and if you want to give this one a freehand rotation, you guys can come here and select the middle part and give this one a freehand rotation. And let's say you come here and you select the x-axis, and from here now what you're going to do is you want to have some calculated rotation. So you guys click on control. Okay, and now here you guys can see the rotation is quite smooth. Okay, and here you do have some options where you will be able to see that how much you are rotating over here. And if you want more professional than that, click on shift from your keyboard, select there, and here you guys can see now you are able to view the rotation quite perfectly. So this is how you guys can actually select your options. Let's say if I come here and if I want to transform this one, I will come here, let's go to the transform option, and now from here I will just drag this one and send it a bit back. Okay, I will keep my object right over here. Okay, so this was about how you will be able to transform the object. Okay, so now let's come here and let's go to the scale tool. Okay, so over here if I want to scale this through the x-axis, what I can do is I can come here, select this item, and here you guys can see it's actually scaling up in the x-axis. And the same way if I want to uh, scale it up in the y-axis, here you guys can see I can change it up to the y-axis, and also I can change the z-axis from here as well. Okay, so now let's take my hand tool, and now what I can do is I can just move this thing up right over here, and now I will just zoom out. Okay, so over here I will just rotate this one, and let's say if you want to resize, okay, also the height and also the length, okay, the y-axis and the z-axis, I can do it from here. And now from here I can change the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so over here you guys can see I am able to change the x-axis and the y-axis over here. Okay, not the z-axis over here on top. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood the usage of this particular part as well. If you want to change individually, you guys can change individually. If you want to change two of the volume at once, then you guys can come here and click and drag the middle part, and both of that will be selected and will be able to increase the size and decrease the size as well. Okay, so now let's say what I want to do is you want to actually get the default x-axis. Okay, so what you need to do to go back is you just need to hover your mouse over that number and click on backspace, and over here you guys can see now it had become 0. Okay, so now if you come here, let's say I will just hover my mouse over that one and I will click on minus, and here you guys can see now this is how it actually looks. And let's say now if you want to get back all those settings, if you want to undo, what you guys can do is you guys can click on Control Z. Okay, here you guys can see using Control Z you guys can basically redo. And if you want to like you can undo over here, and also if you want to redo, what you can do is you guys can click on Control Shift and Z, and here you guys can see now it's just redoing itself. Okay, so this is how you guys can actually use this one. And now let's say if you come over here and if you directly click on backspace, you guys can see all this will actually go, like all of these values will be deleted. But without doing that, there is another way how you will be able to do that is if you come here and let's go to the object option, and from object you guys can go to the clear option, and from here if you want to clear the rotation, you guys can come here and click on R, and over here you guys can see the value of rotation have just been gone to default. Okay, so this is how you guys can actually do that. And let's say if you come here and if you do, or if you want to get default of all these things again, I want to scale this back to 0 again. So from here again I will go to object, I will go to clear. Okay, so here I will go object, from here I will go to clear, and from clear I will go to the scale option. Okay, so I will come here and I am back over here again at the same default size which I had here at the beginning. So you guys can come here and let's take my hand tool and let's just move it up. Okay, so this was about all of this, like here in this particular chapter, that how you will be able to give this thing one upper rotation. But now let's all see. Here I have already told you that if you do have a small triangle under any of these boxes over here, you need to know that you do have another tool. So I just need to click on the left side of my mouse and let's go and let's click on scale cage. Okay, so now over here you guys can see that you do have a lot of these dotted options, so you guys can come here, click on those options and scale it up accordingly. Okay, so you guys, if you guys are familiar with Photoshop, then you guys might be familiar with this, but just think that you are doing this in just a 3D dimension. Okay, so come here, click here, and this is how you guys can just scale this thing up. Okay, so over here you guys can see the scaling options. Let's say I want to scale it from the back side, so you guys can come here and scale it from the back side. Let's say I will come here and I will just increase the size from here, or I want to just increase the size from this particular end. Okay, you guys can come here, select this dots, and you guys can increase the size or decrease the size accordingly. So now let's just increase it from this side, and let's increase it from the back as well. Okay, you guys can come here and place it quite like this. Okay, so this is how you guys will be able to scale up and down. Okay, and now this one is basically the transform option, which is all in one. Okay, so if you come here and if you click on this transform option, let's say if I select this one, so over here now I will be able to scale it up as well. Okay, if I do want to scale it up, I can come here and now I can just move this one as well. And let's say if I want to give this one up a rotation, I can give this one up a rotation over here as well. And now if I want to change up any axis, I can come here and I can change up any axis as well. Okay, so you guys can come here, select all of this option. You guys can see you guys will also be able to give this one up some rotation. And also if you just want to change the x-axis, let's say, you guys can see you are only able to give rotation to the x-axis right over here. Okay, so also you guys will be able to give this one up a rotation here as a freehand. As you guys can see, come here and give this one up a freehand rotation, and now just place it quite like this. Okay, so now if you just zoom out, and here you guys can see how this object actually looks. So now let's come here, and if you want to give this one a freehand rotation, you guys can come here and place this thing accordingly. Okay, so come here, let's say put this one right over here, and now I will just place this thing quite like here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size here in the x-axis. Okay, so I will come here and I will just change the size here in the x-axis, and this is how I will basically put. So here now for some of you, if you guys come here and over here only by default, you guys will be able to see the scaling option, the rotation option, and also the location option. So for that, that might be because here over here on top, here if you click on this down button of show gizmo, over here you guys can come and you guys can click onto the move, rotation, and the scaling option right over here on top. Okay, so if you just click on move, rotate, and scale, and now if you click on enter, now if I select this object, by default I will be able to see all of these things. Okay, so if I do want to scale it, or if I want to give this thing up a rotation or move it, I can come here and I can just move this up. Okay, if I do want to move this through this axis, or if you want to give this one up a rotation, and if you do want to move, you guys can come here and basically move freehand as well. Okay, so now what I'll do again is I will come here and I will just turn all of this off. Okay, so I will come here and I'll just turn all this off, click on enter, and now let's say if I select this one, let's come here, and now I will just select the default and I'll click right over here. And now let's take my selection tool. Okay, or I'll go to the select box. So now what will happen is most of the time we do use the select tool. Okay, so it will be selected the most of the time. So for that, what we need to do is we need to learn some of the shortcut keys what you can use while transforming your object. Okay, so now to see that, let's go to the object option, and on top only I do have the transform option. So now if you want to move your object, you guys can click on G. If you want to rotate your object, you guys can click on R. And if you want to scale it up, you guys can just scale it up using S. Okay, so now let's just remember this. These are very basic. Okay, just the first word of that, just the first letter of that particular word. Okay, so now if I want to move, okay, so for that what I need to do is I need to come here, and if I click on M, now here let's select this one, let's click on M, and here you guys can see now I will be able to move. Okay, so now here you guys can see GRS. Let's come here, let's click on G, and now here you guys can see now I will be able to move it along. Okay, so if I click on G, and now I can actually move it around quite like this. Okay, so now if I click right over here, and now if I just click on G, okay, so now I will click on G, and using my mouse I am able to just move it around. Okay, so I just clicked on G, and after that if I want to rotate this thing, okay, so if you want to just place it somewhere, what you can do is you guys can just click on the left side, or if you can just click on enter to place to that particular space. So now let's come here and let's click on R, and from here now you guys can see with my mouse I am able to give this thing one up a rotation. Okay, so these are few of the easiest ways. And also now let's say you do have given the rotation, you guys can just click on the left side of your mouse. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have given this thing up a rotation as well. So now the next thing is, here you guys can see to scale it, let's say I will come here and I will click on S. Okay, so over here you guys can see, if you want me to scale this thing up, this is how I can actually scale all this thing up here as well. Now I will click on enter and this place will be pasted. So again, the same thing, if I want to use it to separately do the x-axis, y-axis and the z-axis, so for that, now for location or for move, I will just click on G. Okay, so over here I will just click on G, and now let's click on X. Okay, so over here you guys can see now I am able to move this thing up here in the X axis. And now if I just click on Y, here you guys can see now I will be able to move this thing through the Y axis. Okay, now if you want to do it in the Z axis, click on Z, and this is how you guys will be able to move this thing apart. So now if you click on enter, it will come quite like this. And the same way, if you click on S, right now let's just deselect this, let's select this object and let's click on S. And now if I do want to only increase the scale of the Y axis, then I will click on Y on my keyboard, and now here you guys can see I am able to change the Y axis. And the same way I will click on enter, and if I do want to give this thing up a rotation, so I will click on R from the keyboard, and now I will click on X. Okay, so I will just click on X, and over here you guys can see now I am only giving this thing up a rotation in the X axis. Okay, so I will just click on enter, and also if I just click on S for scaling, or I will just click on R for rotation, and now I will just click on the Z axis. Okay, so I can come here, and here you guys can see I am able to give this thing up a rotation on the Z axis. Okay, so I will come here, let's place it quite like this, click on enter, and here if I just zoom out, you guys can see the position of this particular cube or this object right over here. Okay, so this was some of the basic transformation tools description of how you will be able to use this. Okay, how you will be able to use the select box, how you will be able to use the cursor, and also the move tool over here, how we'll be able to rotate. And also here you do have the scale gauge, and also you do have the basic scaling option. Okay, and also this is the transform tool. So this is how you guys will be able to transform all the objects present over here. Okay, and also I have showed you that how you will be able to change the value or the unit from here, okay, of each and every transformation option. So all these things you guys will be able to also do with the light and the camera option from here as well, or this camera layer. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys have understood this class. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter, where we'll be learning more about Blender in detail. So take care everyone. See you all in the next chapter.